Bruh. Alright, what's good, gang, and welcome finally to Battlefield 6. As you can see, I can actually record now. I don't know what changed, but hey, I'm not complaining. I've just been playing casually for most of the day, just getting the challenges done as I go. And honestly, weekend 2, it's convinced me to pre-order. That's for another day. Today, I'm just getting as much footage as I can for shorts and other shit later down the line. But while we're here, you get a straight yapping sesh, because I got a question. How many of y'all got ADHD? Because I don't have any of that, right? ADHD, autism, I don't have it. Because I was having a conversation with somebody that does have ADHD, and they were like explaining it to me, because I wanted to understand like how their brain works. And the way they explained it was like having 80 tabs open at the same time all at once. They would just be flipping from tab to tab every single second, almost like an information overload. And I'm asking you this because autism, right? I know a bit more about that than I do about ADHD, and that it's different for everybody, right? There's different levels of autism. You know, there's different types, like you can be straight nonverbal and stemming every 2 seconds, or you just really like trains. And I don't know if ADHD is the same way, but I highly doubt it. Gotta be at least a little bit different for everybody. Because for me, having neither, I'm a bit more normal. Normal's not the right word. Neurotypical, I think, is the word. I don't know. I think my thought process is a bit more linear. Like, I have a goal, I do it. Like, right now, my goal is to record. I'm doing that. After that, I do whatever I want. There's no background noise, right? I'm not thinking about the fight that I'm gonna watch later tonight. I'm not worrying about when this is gonna go up because it's a long form. I get to do it at my own pace. But it's not like there's nothing going on up there. For example, we were having this conversation outside, and every time a car, I could hear it in the distance, I would point it out just so they knew how my brain was working. Mind you, this all happens naturally in my head. I was only vocalizing it so they could understand. The breakdown is basically this. I hear the car. I determine whether or not it's getting closer or farther away by whether or not it's getting louder. I then gauge how far away it is. If it's getting closer, I keep it in the back of my mind until it passes, then I sort of follow it with my eyes. If it starts slowing down, I'll immediately snap to it. After it passes, I'll keep following it with my eyes until I can't anymore, and then I'll just keep listening for it in case it turns around. Mind you, while this is all happening, I can still be maintaining a conversation like nothing's happening. The car scenario is the best way that I can describe it, but this happens in all forms of my life. It's way worse in school. I would never get overstimulated per se, but I would be focusing so much on what was happening around me that I would never focus on the teacher. But even those instances were rare, because mentally I would be able to tune out stuff that didn't really require my attention. For example, if someone was squeaking their chair, I could just tune that out. Whereas with somebody with autism, they would only focus on that and it would drive them crazy. And someone with ADHD would focus on it for like 30 seconds and then be on another planet. The only thing that would fully take my attention away is someone opening a door. Even then, it would only be for a few seconds, but a door opens, my whole head snaps to it, and I just look at who's entering the room. And as weird as it sounds, doors play a major role in like my mind. Anywhere I go, whether it's a restaurant or a movie theater or whatever, I always need to sit facing a door, or at least have the door in my vision. Yeah, doors and windows, I always gotta see them. I won't have a panic attack or anything if I can't see them, but I always prefer to. And again, then that subroutine goes of like, okay, but this time it's where are the exits? How do I leave? If something goes wrong, can I break that window and jump out? What is the quickest, most efficient way to get not just me, but the people I'm with outside of wherever we're at? And it also transfers to outside. Like if I'm in a park just chilling, I think, okay, where's the most direct way to leave? Like I go over this fence, I go this way, this way, this way, I'm out. Lines of sight is also something that plays a big part, but that's way more difficult to explain. Basically, if something goes wrong, other than the most efficient way of, getting the fuck out of there, how do I stay out of sight as long as possible unless completely necessary? In buildings, it's pretty hard because they're all pretty much rectangular. You have to be in a crowd or just like ducking behind every door or crevice that you can. Bushes can act as concealment, trees can be cover, cars can be either. It's very situational. But I also do a counter version of that when I'm at home. It really depends whether I'm in my own apartment or I'm staying with my parents, but I always have like 4 points of contact that my eyes shift to throughout the room every time I enter a room. It's more 4.5. I always start at the left, do a quick glance to my right, then just scan the room left to right with my eyes. If there's a corner, I'll check it. If there's windows facing out, I check those too. Windows always face out, dumbass. Bro, cut me a break. It's hard to explain this as is. There's also little things I do that are just sort of forced forces of habit that I can't explain. Again, let me know if any of y'all do this, because I might just be crazy. But I will check to make sure the stove is off like 4 times in one night. Same thing with making sure the door is locked. I'll do that like 10 times in one night. I'll even like check the peephole, which I don't know what I'm looking for, but I do it anyway. I've actually gotten in trouble for locking the door because one of the folks decided to show up at like 5 in the morning unannounced, and I'd lock the door. And is it really my fault for locking the door at night and being asleep at 5 in the morning? I don't know, probably. I should have known that they would be there. Being locked out sucks, especially at 5 in the morning, but at least let me plead my case a bit. Anyway, one of y'all can psychoanalyze me in the comments. Battlefield 6 is super fun. I know I already made a short singing its praises, but really, like, I can't stress it enough. This is peak. Is it enough to kill Call of Duty? You can't tell, but there were air quotes there. No, definitely not. Call of Duty's too big to fail. There's still people that would prefer Call of Duty over Battlefield. Not only that, but there's also going to be people that just get Black Ops 7 to play for like a few days and then go back to Battlefield 6. Me included. If I net a little disposable, I'll make a video on Black Ops 7. I mean, full transparency, you guys saw it. I bought into the hype as soon as the teaser dropped. And a lot of that is because they're playing off nostalgia, bringing back Menendez and David Mason. Like, there's a reason that all of their recent games have been revamps or reboots or whatever of older games. Vanguard included. They were going back to their roots of World War II. Or at least that's what they told us. Something I wish we could do now, which we used to do back in the day, was renting games. I know, in theory, it's not possible because it's all online, right? And they want you to pay full price for something you're gonna play only like twice. I remember places like GameStop, Blockbuster, although Blockbuster was a few years before my time, but still, you could rent games and then you'd have to bring them back in like a week or two. Did I ever bring a game back? Hell no. A few days before the return date, I'd lose them in a boating accident or my dog would eat them. You know what I'm saying? But I think we all know why they're not gonna do it. The amount of returns Activision would get would break their servers. From a business standpoint, it could make sense. You rent a game, they charge you until you return it, right? But from an actual person's perspective, it's getting very close to like paying a subscription for a game that you already bought. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember GTA 6 was like flirting with that idea a bit. Well, and they have like GTA Plus or whatever that is for online, which I don't think anybody really has. And once the internet found out that they were thinking about making GTA 6 a subscription service, everybody flipped out, which, you know, rightfully so. That's bullshit. We're moving very far away from Battlefield 6, but if anything, it's not gonna kill Call of Duty, but if Activision's paying attention, it's gonna be a wake-up call. Unless they're really on a high horse, they see the simplicity of Battlefield and that people like it, and that has to be a wake-up call of some sort. The fact that just a beta was breaking their records has to sting a bit, and hopefully at the end of the day it makes them make better games, because to be honest, that's what I want. I don't want either franchise to die, even though the companies behind them are kinda, you know, shitty. But to have competition in this space wouldn't hurt.